Well, hello again, everyone. This is Wayne again, the Chief Thirst Officer for HL7, and we're here for the sum up today of day 2 of DevDays, another incredibly full, rich day with way too much content for my poor brain to handle. So in addition to that, we'll be talking about the social event for a few minutes at the very end. With me here today is Heather Cartwright from our host sponsor, Microsoft. Heather might do a little tete-a-tete with me as we review the events of the day. We started out with introductory remarks from HL7's CEO Chuck Jaffe and a tour of Ewout's kitchen, which was will be interesting to see what he does to vary his tour of his house in the next couple of days. We then went into a presentation from Matthew Holt today, who introduced the notion of a continuous clinic. It's something that is sort of a vision that could be fired or powered by HL7 Fire in the future. We had our second patient advocate presentation from Olivier talking about ways that fire can help make a difference in Africa, which we know is a very needy geographical location. And then we had the usual runs of so many community tracks. It was a heavy COVID-19 theme today, including the panel discussion, which I was able to watch while also doing chair yoga at the same time. And finally, our MVP Ironman for today was the inestimable James Agnew, who had both a Let's Build session, had office hours, and is hosting one of the 5 pubs this evening. So long day for James, but no one has more energy and excitement and joy than within this community. How about you, Heather? Anything you saw today that interested you that you'd like to share with the community?
Yeah, it was an awesome day. There's a lot of content. I loved actually, though, as you moved from session to session, you could actually see some of the continuity, particularly with the continuous clinic and some of the remote care conversations. But actually, I did want to call out one thing I heard today, which was during one of the COVID-19 sessions. I think Graham called out that at one point that he thinks we're still using carrier pigeon here in the United States for during the immediate response, but I can actually validate that talking to many hospital systems across the US, we have graduated from carrier pigeon with a lot of the HL7 converters and CCDA converters to using fire in many cases where we could, but I have not seen any carrier pigeons. So we're maybe still a few phone and fax, but
yeah, a few facts. I think fax still wins the way in the USA, but we're getting there, and the proposed rule is going to move us along, I think. So
yes, indeed.
Yeah, that was interesting. Looking forward to tomorrow, day 3 of 4. It's a long session here. It's really tiring, so make sure you get some sleep today, but not too much sleep. In any case, we'll be starting out with the usual Microsoft Hack on Fire for those of you who've been participating. I haven't been able to join that since I've been preparing for the other sessions. And I think our keynote tomorrow is also
great scenarios developing.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
been
really cool. So it'll be interesting to hear the report out from that later. And Sarah Novotny from Microsoft is giving a presentation on open source tomorrow too, which will be our first keynote. So that's one thing to look for. We'll have our last 2 patient tracks tomorrow, which will be ready to go vote. You'll be getting your email ballot, I think, Dave said sometime later tomorrow. And there's a big focus on US government tracks tomorrow on a number of different topics. We've got CMS, we've got privacy, we got electronic case reporting with CDC, and we've got the ONC Inferno. We also have office hours with the Ask ONC. It's going to be a busy day for ONC tomorrow, so I hope they get to sleep for a reasonable hour tonight. And also office hours with Lloyd McKenzie, who is Lloyd knows a lot. So save your questions. We might have a special competition for stumping Lloyd. We'll see what we can do on that. And last thing tomorrow is coming up big way is the startup track pitches, which should be a lot of fun. So it's a little bit like what used to be our Fire Roundtable. We'd bring back lots of presentations, show all kinds of cool things that be done with Fire. So another really exciting day coming up tomorrow. And I think at this point, it's ready to talk a little bit about the social event. As Ewout said this morning, it's been a tradition to do social events at DevDays. Last time at Microsoft, we went to the Media Museum that was downtown Seattle. It was an awfully cool place, It had like rock and roll artifacts and movies and all kinds of stuff. We had a long time, but we did the pub crawl at, I think it was my first DevDays. I think it was back in 2016 when I was there, and I really loved it. Went to 3 Amsterdam pubs. each of which had a special treat. It's not quite the same. For one thing, you got your drinks
My first
included.
virtual. I've never done a virtual pub crawl before, so I'm excited.
Brett, can you pop up that slide? I'd like to go over the rules right now, and then we'll get right into the heavy work of lifting for today, which is the drinking. So, okay, so what's the virtual pub crawl? Okay, once again, this is the first time we ever tried something like this. We're not quite sure it'll work, but as long as everyone has plenty of drinks handy, I'm sure we'll find a way to have fun. We'll be doing this in Zoom. We won't be using Hoover for this. You can use Hoover to get to the links, which will help you plug in, but they're just going to be straight Zoom linking. And it's also on the DevDays agenda online as well. So, you should be able to find it easy. All of the pubs will be open the entire time, but each one will have a special event scheduled at one particular time. Since we're in Zoom, you're going to have to take a little control over your screen view. If you're in gallery view and we have hundreds of people showing up, I think it might be a pinhead for each individual. You might not want to do that. You certainly want to be in speaker view so you can see for the events when we have those. And if you're not talking, just mute anyway, so at least we can hear somebody who has something to say. But really, this is an anything goes thing. Don't use Hoover. We're not using Q&A. We're not moderating these sessions. These are purely fun sessions, but you can use Zoom chat just to talk to who's ever there. And try not to stay in one place the entire time so people have a time to get in. We have just like a space limitations of an actual face-to-face in-person pub. There's only a maximum of 300 for each Zoom channel. So I don't know how many people are actually going to be showing up anyway. I see 191 on this call. So if we do that, then we can all stay everywhere, as long as everyone has a chance. Don't record anything. We want people to not be embarrassed, or at least, well, maybe a little embarrassed, but we want to remember that. We don't really want to immortalize it on the web. And drink sort of responsibly. This link here, which has been passed out previously, will take you to the information page. You don't need to know all that stuff. You just need basically get into Zoom, get a drink, hang out, do whatever you want. We can do breakout rooms. You might want to try that. I've never tried them myself, but use the chat to do that if you want to do a breakout ring. And in terms of the schedule, I'll be leading off with the Chicago Fire Blues Bar in a few minutes. We'll be doing our cheese and tasting pairing at 5:20 Eastern time, 10 minutes for me. It's quite a little early for you, Heather, to start your drinking. But I'm happy to give you an opportunity to do some serious work there at Microsoft as part of the fire community. We'll get an early start. And it's a very late start for the 6 o'clock Amsterdam group. That's good. 6 o'clock is what, midnight? Yeah, midnight, but my friends at Firely, I know, can handle the demands. Dave Shaver will be doing the 540 Colorado Mountain Lodge. Dave Shaver has been the true pubmeister of HL7 for decades, having traditionally hosting a Tuesday night party at HL7 working group meetings. And now that he's retired in the mountains of Telluride, Colorado, he'll be giving us a beer tasting with also some cheese. So we'll be doing beer and cheese for the first two events. Amsterdam will have all kinds of Dutch treats that Ewout's been working on. Things that you can't usually get at your local supermarket, but try to imagine. And the Gouda cheese from Chicago will go really well in the Amsterdam meeting as well. At 6:20, James will be hosting the Toronto's America's Hat Pub. We'll get a taste of Canada, just so it's not all North America is not just the USA. We have a huge representation in the community from Canada, and we're having some particularly Canadian treats and I think some sort of a trivia event. And then we'll be closing out with the DC Tiki Bar again, which will be, really it's beach attire. I don't know how people have time to go and change clothes. You'll be grabbing your drinks, but keep that in mind. That one technically will be, that one, we have no technical ending. The agenda says we're done at 6, but clearly we're going to keep on going as long as someone wants to. And first one in the morning will basically turn things off. We may do a repeat of the Chicago Fire Cheese tasting if anyone's still around and still awake, but I don't know, a lot of us are probably pretty tired. So at that, I'll leave it to you to do the formal christening and send-off. Heather, if you'd like to put us on our way, over to you for the final words.
Absolutely. It's one of the things that we've done over the last few days has been a lot of presenting. I haven't had enough time to talk to people, and that's one of the best things about Fire Dev Days is getting to pass people through the conversation, and especially the events are always super fun. So So go to the pub crawl, pull in folks from your team if they're attending Fire Dev Days, but you don't see them in the room. This is a great opportunity to meet people across the community from different companies, from different organizations and different regions. And that's the magic behind Fire is really that collaboration globally. So use the time. I'm excited to meet a few people and head over to Chicago. I think is our first stop. So looking forward to meeting everyone and enjoy the pub crawl.
Oh, thank you.
Drink
See everyone in Chicago a little bit. Yes, please. Not too responsibly, though. Join us. Let's have some fun. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.